Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're going to talk about a movie that's been long awaited, 10 years in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Avengers Infinity War.
This highly anticipated movie centers around the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, and many other heroes as they join forces to defeat the greatest enemy that the world of the Marvel Universe has ever seen, Thanos, who wants the Infinity Stones to wipe out half of the same universe.
And this has been building up since, 2009, which started with the Iron Man movie, which is the start of the Marvel Universe. And then, one movie after another, you get to see each character, then the Avengers team up, then you get to see 3 other movies again, Guardians of the Galaxy team up again, and they're divided, then you have to see even more further, and eventually you finally get to a point where all of them come together.
And I must say that it has been a fun ride from the beginning, starting with the Hulk, not so fun, all the way to Infinity War.
Right. Yeah. And at first, I think they're probably thinking, oh, it's over after the first Avengers movie. But no, it's that. Let's just keep going and keep going. So every character, for the main Avengers got 3 movies minus the Hulk. The Guardians of the Galaxy so far have 2 movies. We're not sure if it's going to get a 3rd one. Black Panther has 1, possibly another one coming. Spider-Man's going to...
crazy not to make another Black Panther.
Spider-Man has a movie. I think 2 more are on the way. And plus we have, a phase 4 coming as well. That will probably conclude the cinematic universe.
Right. So, it's been a great ride, and also brilliant marketing by Marvel and Disney to have this be the way that this unfolds. DC, take notes. It was a great way to get introduced to each individual character or team, like in Guardians of the Galaxy, and to have it culminate in this ultra epic ending.
Right.
DC, take notes.
Yes. Don't just show us half your cast and then introduce the rest when they team up. Then act like we're gonna know who they are if we've never seen these characters before.
Or wait 50 years to have a movie about one of the best animated teams ever, Justice League. 50 years later, you finally decide to have a movie.
Right.
So again, take notes. We love you, DC, but please take notes, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So, we finally got to see it, as you mentioned. So many people were saying, you have to see. We finally saw it. And the first time we viewed it, we were just, shook. We were left speechless.
Yeah,
we were upset. We were not crying because many of you had already told us online who was going to get taken out, so it wasn't as much a shock as it would have been, but still it was unsettling to see it happen. And after we got over the initial shock, we turned around and watched it all over again.
Right, to see the stuff that we missed the first time viewing.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of this stuff was online, days after the movie premiere. People were taking pictures at the theaters, posting them on YouTube and Pinterest and other social media sites showing this happened, and the movie just came out. So anybody who didn't go to see the theaters are going to be spoiled as soon as they get online.
Right.
You just ruined it for half the people who wanted to see it.
And sometimes it could just be by a thumbnail that shows on a YouTube video.
Right.
On Twitter, someone's making a random comment. On Tumblr, artwork and words that accompany it. But there were lots of spoilers that were out for this movie.
Yeah.
So it was absolutely impossible not to have some foreknowledge of what was going to happen in this movie. But the great thing is, because we didn't read the entire synopsis and we didn't hear the entire thing, we were able to see the movie for the most part like someone who hadn't seen it before.
Right. And this movie was nearly 3 hours. The last couple movies they had were actually 2 hours or actually a little less, like Doctor Strange. Some of them were actually unusually shorter compared to the other movies, which are 2 hours.
Right.
But this one was nearly 3 hours because not only were they jumping back and forth between all these different characters, plus Thanos, you had this overarching plot with everybody in different places. You had Captain America and Black Widow and some other ones Wakanda. You had Thor with the Guardians of the Galaxy. You had Iron Man with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man in some ship. You had Thanos dealing with Gamora. You had all these things going on at the same time.
Right.
And I felt like they were cutting it off too short or trying to cram all these people into one story and get them all spotlight.
Okay. So first we're going to talk about best parts of the movie for each of us. Best parts, we'll go one on one. First,
when they had the fight scene at Wakanda, and they had not only just all of Black Panther's army, but you know, some of the other Avengers. You had Bruce Banner in a giant Iron Man suit because he couldn't turn into the Hulk, versus these very strange alien dog creatures that were getting through. That lasted a long time.
Thor was Thor. This is the Thor that we love. He was back in his outfit. He had another hammer. He came and kicked butt. He just blew everyone away. It was like, this is Thor. This is the Thor. This is Thor. Thank you for coming back, Thor. We were so happy.
Yes. I think it would be Spider-Man finally became an Avenger after 100 years.
Yes,
It's like, when is he going to become an Avenger? No, you're not an Avenger. No, you're not an Avenger.
Yes.
Finally he said, okay, you're an Avenger now.
Yes. Captain America in a beard with a new haircut and a hair color. It was mildly odd and mildly interesting. Very different look for Captain America.
Now he looks like Dudley.
But
he looks like Dudley.
No, okay.
He does. They have the same exact beard. Just give him green.
Okay, don't let your head get too big, Dudley. Next.
Thor met the Guardians of the Galaxy, and all they talked about was how great he looked. And Star-Lord got jealous. Well, he did look different between now and the last movie he was in. But they were saying, like, you're like nothing now. Thor is like the most attractive Avenger of the Marvel Universe now, according to the writers. It's like, okay, you're gonna get in a big head today, aren't you?
Them not depending on Hulk to save the day. It was a real big twist we didn't see coming, where he could not turn to the Hulk, and he had to get in a suit like Iron Man to contribute to the fight. But it was a welcome difference and a refreshing turn for the Hulk,
Right.
which I really enjoyed this element of the movie, where Hulk, he didn't just turn green and bam and beat everyone up. He had to actually use the smarts you always know he's had, but finally came back into the picture.
And when they had Doctor Strange fight Thanos for like that short period of time, and he multiplied himself
That was
into
cool.
like 50 other duplicates of himself to attack him all at once.
Yes, that was cool. I also liked when they were fighting on the battlefield, and they had Scarlet Witch, and they had the other two women, and they were trying to beat, as you said, the dog aliens, and all of a sudden she comes down. We're just going to say all of a sudden and not ruin as to why, although we were probably two of the only humans on the planet who hadn't seen this movie.
Right.
And she comes down and she wham, and they go, why didn't she come down and do that earlier? I thought that was a great scene.
You could have saved us like 20 minutes of fighting.
Yes, and then you really see just how powerful she is as a character.
And also, if you pay attention to like some of the trailers they had before, the movie was a little bit different. Hulk was in the movie at first, but due to some comments about the trailers they had seen, which we won't get into, lots of the parts were changed. Hulk was in the movie at first, and he was in the beginning of the movie, but from then on, he didn't want to come out anymore. I think maybe he was upset he got beaten. Let's see. I would say the post-credit scene, but kind of not so much, because it was
after we saw
it was just a continuation. It was just a continuation of what happened at the end of the movie.
And what did you say?
The post-credit scene.
The post-credits. Yeah, that's we haven't gotten over yet. Yes, that. You can't say post-credit. You're right. I agree.
I was going to say the final scene after is where there's another Avenger coming in her own movie, Captain Marvel. Not to be confused with DC's Marvel, who's no longer called that.
Oh, it's the Captain Marvel that Dudley likes.
And they're gonna have, I think, Brie Larson play her in the movie.
Okay, since we're going to the worst parts, let's go to the parts that were not so happy for us in the movie. Besides the killing off of many of our beloved characters. Thanos. Just Thanos.
Yeah.
Thanos.
I think he takes up all 9 out of 10 places. It'll be pretty short, so.
But not to be confused with the actor himself, Josh Brolin, who did an amazing job, not only in motion capturing and them creating this character, but in his delivery and his performance. This is probably, and we've seen him in other movies, and he's a very good actor. But I have to say, for me, this is probably Josh Brolin's greatest role that's gonna make him forever memorable in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, he just did an amazing job. But yeah, Thanos.
That was it. That was the only other part. And then, of course, the one that's unfortunately now an iconic moment in the Marvel Universe. Even though we know they're all going to come back in part 2.
I didn't know that.
Okay, we're assuming we know that they're going to come back in part 2 of Infinity War. Thanos snaps his fingers and he obliterates the entire universe.
Okay, I have another one that got me. It's when Star-Lord couldn't control his temper and they almost had the glove off. And just in the context of the movie, not knowing how it would have shortened the movie before you say it, but they said, just hold on, dude. Just wait. We're almost got the glove off, and then you can beat the crap out of him. But no, Star-Lord couldn't control his temper, and now he's become a character that is totally different from how he premiered in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Because he couldn't control his temper, he had to slap somebody. They didn't get the glove off.
Right, and they saw it was just about like off his fingers, and right when he hit him, he got it right back on. And they kept saying, it's almost off, and he got mad because of what happened to Gamora. Now, some people have said, well, because he's lost just about everybody, he takes away one person left. That's why he was so upset. I'm like, you could have held out like 5 more seconds.
He could have looked at the big picture exactly for 5 more seconds.
Right.
So,
now the universe be saved, you still could have wailed on him, and then you probably would have been hit, but you wouldn't have been obliterated.
Right. For me, that Peter Parker sneaked off the bus, sneaked onto the ship, and if he hadn't done that, he would have been there. He would have been obliterated. I wish he had listened and stayed where he was, and stayed on the bus. And he even said himself, "I should have stayed on the bus."
Yeah, but we don't know. We actually don't know if he would have been obliterated or not.
Well, he would not have been taken out on the battlefield the way he was taken out.
Right. We actually don't know because it just took, when he did it the first time, he did wipe out all of the universe. There was nothing left but him. And then he realized that was a mistake. Everything was gone.
A la Vandal Savage.
Right. And he reversed it. So when he did it the second time, he only obliterated half the universe. And the only thing, the scary part was, before the spoilers, you didn't know who was taken out.
Right.
You didn't know who was going to wipe out.
But it looked like systematically the original Avengers somehow stayed all there. Not happy that they're not gone. Don't misunderstand. They all stayed, but all of the other supporting superheroes were wiped out.
Yeah.
Almost all of them.
Yeah, but then how are you going to have these other movies if you just obliterated them in this one?
And then the credits in the final thing is the credits were like a memoriam, because the first names that came up were the actors who played the Avengers, and then all the other names that came up after were of all the people who got obliterated by Thanos. And it was like a memorial. And it was like, that was one of the most depressing credits I've ever seen, because you kept going, that person's gone, he's gone, she's gone, he's gone. Why did they put them all together? And then you realize, what they've done.
Yeah, and they even have the heroic music. All throughout the movie, they played the Avengers theme you've heard from the first movie. You hadn't heard that theme in years. And then when it gets to the credits, it was just dun, dun, dun. It was just a soft piano. There wasn't a lot of action, or wasn't the special effects, a background like you would see in the other 2 movies. It was just a black screen. All they're missing was dedicated to the memory of. That's all you were missing.
Exactly.
And then it would have been Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I know that was part of the movie, but for us, those were the so-called worst parts, which really weren't the worst.
Right.
They were just part of the story.
Okay.
But we are now looking forward to the second movie, because I'm really hoping that you and everyone else is right and that they're going to bring them back. That would just be, oh my gosh, Thea, if they don't bring them back.
Right.
But I hope they do. They've got to. There's too many favorites and too many characters we love to leave them gone. I mean, that would be like the most deplorable way to end the MCU universe.
Right. That would not be a great way.
No.
Two things. One, there is actually a theory that Loki is still alive that's been going around on the internet.
I think so too, because remember when we were watching it, and if you remember, when he first was killed, his eyes were closed. Then when they went back to him, suddenly his eyes were open.
Right.
And it's like, are his eyes open? And we went and we rewound it, and sure enough, his eyes were closed in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So yes, I do believe that.
Yeah, and there were many people that pointed out that, okay, this could be a reason why, because he usually does this when it's illusion, he usually does this when it's not, and then all these different theories. And the thing that was trying to throw off when he said there's no resurrection this time, because usually every time you think he's gone, he comes back. Oh, it's illusion, oh, it's illusion. He said there's not going to be one this time.
Right.
I think that may have been used to throw you off, because even Tom Hiddleston was saying this is the end of Loki, so you don't know
exactly
what's real and what's not. You're going to have to wait for the movie. My final worst part, Spider-Man gone. Everyone, of course, everyone that was, like you said, the supporting cast gone, but Spider-Man, like, you just became an Avenger,
and he's a teen,
he's so young,
and he's a teen,
Sheen.
And he's so innocent and so sweet and so humble, and I can understand why, yeah, that would be like the most heart-wrenching one of all, because it's him.
Right. And that's why now one of the quotes now, the last quotes is now people remember, he said, Mr. Starr, I don't feel so good. Now everyone's gonna remember that in the movie, and it's like that's gonna be haunting everyone now.
And I thought that was pretty interesting how where Iron Man was, everyone that was there with him got wiped out.
Right.
So you wonder, at least I wonder, did Thanos do this on purpose because he was really, really pissed with him more than anyone else? Mm-hmm. Because for the others that you saw disappeared, it was, random in other areas. Mm-hmm. There's no way that the randomness of the universe worked that well. Well, everyone that was with him was gone.
Right.
So it was like Thanos was particularly upset with Stark. Mm-hmm. And he said, this is the way to get you back, and everybody that was there with him fighting was taken out. So that was interesting.
And one left with him was I think Nebula, and we were surprised she didn't disappear too. We were expecting
she doesn't count as a superhero.
Exactly. And then when we got to Earth, all of a sudden Bucky, he was like gone, and then I think War Machine, he was gone. Vision was already gone. They tried to save him, but it didn't work. He just reversed it back to kill him off. They killed him off once so he wouldn't get the stone. He reversed time, then killed him to get the stone and got it. I'm like, that was for nothing. It was like mayhem. It was a Marvel massacre.
Yeah, it was. So, again, we're waiting for the next Avengers. It comes out in 2019, correct?
Yes, May of 2019, and will be the last of the Avengers movie.
And this one we are planning, and we are going to see this one in the theater. So we will have a quicker podcast because we're going to see it in the theaters the same time as all of you do this time.
Yes.
So if you have any comments, want to tell us your best moments from this movie, let us know in the section below. We look forward to seeing what you love from this movie rather than what all of us hated at the end of the movie.
Right.
So we'll talk about some positives.
Right. And we'll also be seeing the last movie we have left to see, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes.
And we are officially caught up with the MCU.
Yes. Woohoo!
So, thank you for watching, everybody.
And thank you for all of you, Sylvian, Bennett, Looney Cat, and many others who kept saying, you've got to see it, go see it, not only on our YouTube channels, but also on Google. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting, flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you want to do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Better in my dream. Filling the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in the form of a locket. People in